Good morning. Grab a cup of coffee and snuggle in while I read you an excerpt. Well, one of my favorite, again, many favorites, but I want to start on page 157. This is in chapter 11, and in the middle of the page. Upon entering the exhibit, I found myself charmed with the story of an artist. It was the year 1475 in Caprese, Republic of Florence, when a baby boy was born. By birthright, the boy held the surname of a minor nobility in Florence, Italy. However, at the time, the family name bore no status or patrimony. At the age of 13, the boy took an apprenticeship with one of Florence's most prominent painters, even though in society's eyes it was considered a step down for a nobleman. The boy agreed to a 3-year term. However, he left after 1 year, having nothing more to learn. Florence at this time was considered the leading center of art. The artist boy was taken under the wing of a prominent man in the city known as the Magnificent. Because of the connection, the boy could access a vast art gallery, which was dominated by Roman statuary. Through the collection, he was able to find his muse sculpting. Although his work in architecture, painting, and sculpture were all exquisite, he thought himself primarily a sculptor, to which he spent the majority of his 88 years, with marble being his choice of medium. He was not much more than a boy when his newest project commenced in the early morning light of August 13, 1501. His task was to resurrect a 6-ton block of marble nicknamed the Giant, who had lain in the yard of the cathedral workshop awaiting him for 40 years. The Giant had been rejected by 2 separate artists in 1464 and 1475 due to its many tarolli, or imperfections. It had been abandoned and left badly blocked out and supine in the yard. He worked with his Giant day and night for over 2 years in utmost secrecy. He toiled in the elements. If it rained, he worked soaked. He slept sporadically, ate rarely, and lit the night with the candles secured to the brim of his hat. The 14-foot marble statue was depicted with watchful eyes, pulsing veins on the back of his hands, taut curve of the torso, and flexing thigh muscles in the right leg. The 26-year-old nobleman subject was depicted before the battle, relaxed but alert, an altogether revolutionary perspective on this biblical hero. His Giant was unveiled January 1504, the David of Michelangelo. Michelangelo loved his God, he loved his craft, and he loved to draw the shadow to enhance the light. Reminiscing the life of Michelangelo as I walked through the Hall of Prisoners and admired his unfinished works. The 4 figures seemed to be fighting to emerge from the stone slabs with which they were held. Although they're considered incomplete, they are nonetheless impactful in their own right. To witness his creation process and the traces of his meager tools, various kinds of chisels, a rasp, a bow drill, and nothing less than awe-inspiring. The unfinished statues stand as sentinels watching over Michelangelo's David, who's in the adjoining circular grand gallery. I knew he was there. I caught a glimpse of his pedestal and his feet while making my way down the hall. I emerged into the grand gallery with my eyes focused upon his feet. I was searching for the shattered toe, a tragedy from a deranged man with a hammer in 1991. The repair had been flawless. I could not decipher which of his toes had taken the blow. Although it was repaired, the moral impact remained. The world's most famous statue had been damaged. I ceased circling and stood directly before him as my gaze slowly rose 17 feet to the curly locks which crowned his head. I paid no mind to the dampness on my cheeks. I was engulfed in the majesty of Michelangelo's greatest work. Quote, I saw the angel in the marble, and I carved until I set him free. Michelangelo, Italian High Renaissance master. To read more about this beautiful experience, grab your book at www.aglowlife and join the journey.